Hey folks, if you can guess what this stuff is from, you'll know what's coming to the channel next as the next rebuild. But here's a hint, this is supposed to be one piece. Leave your comments down below. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Here's another rebuild project that I've kind of got started. The story is that the person who owned this before had gotten it stuck in snow on their street. Here in Ohio there was a snowfall a few weeks ago and the car had gotten stuck, and I think they were expecting it to work like four-wheel drive where you just kind of, lock it in and it goes, but this car's all-wheel drive. This is a 2002 Subaru Impreza. The car's got 135,000 miles on it, and it runs great. But on the ad that they were, selling the car, it said, I got the car stuck, I got it back out, but now it doesn't go anywhere, and it makes a horrible noise. So I got in contact with them, and I had to drive 2 hours in Ohio to go get it, and brought it home. Just hooked it up with the winch and drug it up with the winch cable here. To get the car on the trailer. And so one of the first things I did is here on the trailer, you can see it's up. I got space here. I'm trying to turn on a light for you, not to blind you. But I went around and I see if I can get in here. Oh, come on. Well, I went around with a flashlight. Let's see here. Okay. And I rotated the tires. So here, the car with the wheel turning, you can see the axles turning as well, which is what I expected to see. So I did that kind of all around here. Like here on the left rear, the brakes are sticky on this thing. I don't think it's been driven a bunch. But the axles turn when the wheels turn. Till I got to the right front. So that's how I kind of determined that I'm hoping that's all that's wrong with this car. So this car, I got it over here to the right front, spun the tire, and the axle didn't move. I'll show you guys on the bench, the CV, it's bad, but basically it had failed out here on the outboard side of the CV, and that's why I think the car doesn't move, and it doesn't, it sounds terrible. That CV was making a bunch of noise. I did put the car in drive when I was buying it to make sure the engine ran good and it didn't bog down when I put it in drive. But, so that's what I'm hoping on. That's my gamble, I guess. So I bought a replacement OEM CV axle that I'm going to try to put in here and see if the all-wheel drive system works. So I'm gonna show you guys on the bench the comparison between the two CV axles, and we'll go ahead and put it in and see if that fixes the problem here. All right, so this is what I found when I started taking the axle apart after I figured out that the right front axle was loose, so it would just spin. You can see here, like this side over here is not turning. This one's turning. Of course, it's actually turning because it's all apart. But I found that the cage for the CV was destroyed because I just took the band off the boot here. And come on, one-handed, it's a little tough. And I could see that it was apart. So I took this all apart just to see what else was wrong. Nothing else is wrong, but in case you're wondering, there is a difference between OEM and aftermarket parts. I bought the part back here is an OEM one. You can see the boot looks a little bit different here on the outboard side. The tone ring looks the same, whatever. But here on the inboard side, there's definitely a big color difference. So an OEM axle really are green. I'm sure a lot of the people that are diehard Subaru fans know that, but I was surprised to see it myself. I've heard that before. They talk about the green CVs, but I'm pretty sure this is an aftermarket one, and historically they're not as strong as what I read. And also you can see there's a little bit of difference here in the shaft. So this shaft is the same diameter. The OEM shaft actually steps down here, and then it also steps down right out here where my finger is. So you can see that there's the way it's made is a little bit different. So I'm going to try to get this stab back in, and then we're going to do a little run up and see if we can get this thing to move under its own power. I guess I'm going to need to see at least the front two wheels turn together, and maybe not the rear, depending on how the differential is in this car. So give me a few minutes here. I'll get this put in, and we'll see how it goes. All right, folks, I got it all back together here. I got, the alignment bolt. If you can watch about 100 other videos on how to take this thing out, so I'm not going to make that video. My video is more about how to determine if the axle is bad, but you want to make sure you get this top bolt in the same orientation or very close so that it keeps the alignment. The bottom bolt here is just a bolt that holds it together, but this one has a cam that can move the top of the wheel in and out to help with your camber and help with your alignment on your car. So the wheel's laying over here. We've got it together. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. There's a little bit of a puddle of something. I mean, for what I paid for this car, I expected to have some leaks. And just so everybody's aware, it is strapped off to the trailer still, and it's sitting on jack stands, a jack in the back, but that's how it's going to work. We're going to hop in here and start it up and put it in drive. And we're going to see if anything moves or if it makes a bunch of noise. And we're going to be doing this together. So let's see here. All right. Okay. The exhaust has fallen off, so it doesn't have a muffler, but it does run pretty good. It's got an ABS light on. I'm not sure what that's about, but let's put it in drive. All right, well, I don't hear the crazy noise I heard before, so I'm going to let out on the brake. Okay, the left front tire is spinning. The left front, or the right front is not spinning. But again, I don't know about the differential in this car, and that's something we're going to talk about at the end of the video. But at least I'm not hearing the horrid sound I heard before. When I put it in drive, it was just grind, and I know I didn't film that for you guys, but I think we're in good shape for what we're trying to do right now. So let me get the tires back on and get it lowered down, and we'll see if we can't get it unloaded off the trailer. It'd be nice to have the car off the trailer so I can go get something else. So give me a few minutes and we'll see if we can drive it off. All right, folks, well, I was able to get it down off the trailer. Like I said, again, the exhaust is broken. It's here in the trunk. Apparently we're losing our S, so we get the Subaru. But the engine sounds really healthy. The tires are really low. I don't know if they had deflated them to get it off, get it unstuck. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put some air in it. It was nice to see this. It says that we had a new belt, timing belt at 117. Looks like 967. It's almost 118,000 miles. The car's got 135, so we've only had a few miles on it, which is good to hear. 18,000, so not too bad on the timing set. It looks like it has a replacement radiator. It looks pretty clean. Looks a little newer than everything else. Everything in here looks pretty good, pretty honest. I haven't had this car running except enough to make sure that it didn't sound like a box of rocks. So it definitely runs pretty smooth. The exhaust needs work on. It's got, of course, it's got some rust here. Something happened to the door. It's got rust on the wheel arches like a lot of Subarus this age do. But the interior is really clean. Don't really have anything to say about that. It looks pretty nice. We do have an ABS light on. I'm thinking about putting my code reader in to see what that looks like. Just kind of odd. It could be the right front because, you know, I had that off. Maybe I pulled it too far and broke the wire. So let's see here. Got my code reader. Normally you do this with the car, just key on, not running, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference here. Maybe it's just low on fluid. I kind of looked at the reservoir, it didn't look that low, but maybe sitting on the trailer, it ran backwards or something because the trailer was sitting at an angle. So I don't see anything on this one, not there. So there's no codes on here, but let's see what it says. It does give you the nothing really here. Well, I guess we'll have to figure that one out. All right, folks. Well, it does run pretty good. It does drive. The cruise control even works, which I'm surprised. Yeah, there's a spare key sitting right there in the trunk. I put some air in the tires, and you know, it does go down the road pretty good. Problem with all-wheel drive vehicles, of course, is that if people don't maintain them, especially the Subarus with their center differentials and everything, you've got to have the same size tires, and they've all got to be inflated the same, or it really puts a lot of wear on the system. So I'm not sure how that whole system's working yet, but it is neat to go and buy a car that was suspected of transmission damage, and we were able to get it running. You can see here it even has a nice little manual antenna. I think it's a nice touch. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure what the next stage for this car is, but I'm kind of digging putting a lift kit on it. So maybe follow the same line everybody else does and put some Forester struts on it, get it a little bit of a lift kit, and you know, see where that goes for us. But I guess there's a quick video on how to diagnose if your axles are broken on your Subaru. You know, if you can get it jacked up, you at least need to get one end. So whether it's the rear or the front, you need to get that whole front end or rear end isolated, and then you can spin the tires and watch the axles to make sure that the axles are turning and that you know, that you're getting motion through your entire CV. It could be broken on the transmission side, and that is possible. However, it's more likely that it's broken on the outside like mine was. And so there you go. That's kind of how you can tell if your axle is broken, and it's not that hard of a job. You can definitely do that in your driveway if you had to, or even if you rent an apartment, you could probably just do it in the parking lot if you had a jack to jack the frame up. And a 19mm wrench was pretty much the biggest thing. So thanks for watching, and we'll see what happens with this car soon.